May, June 2020, 9608 P42. Ammar is alerted to runtime error when he runs a program. Remember, runtime errors are those errors which basically make your program crash. Okay. Runtime errors do not occur always, but once they occur, they will actually crash your program. Okay, so runtime errors occur when Ammar attempts to open a file that does not exist. Three other reasons. One of the most obvious one is division by zero. The other one is type mismatch. Type mismatch as in if you assign a string to a date or integer to a date. Okay. Array. If you try to fetch an element that does not exist in array out of bound. Hardware failure. For example, you are trying to access a disk and hardware is not working properly. That is basically hardware failure. That's it. A program should be written with exception handling. Exception, try, catch, and try. Okay. A program should be written with exception handling. Routines to manage runtime errors. A program reads data from the file mydata.txt. This is text file. The program needs to report an exception if it attempts to open the file and file does not exist. So let's write the whole thing in pseudocode. Okay. So if you are actually appearing P4 as in Bilal and who else was Rizan, so you will be writing it in Visual Basic, okay? So Visual Basic and pseudocode are mostly the same. Now, try open file mydata.txt for read a catch output file does not exist and try. This is the code that you put try. If file you try to open the file does not exist, then this error will come. Otherwise, system will continue after and try. Okay, so you have code before it, you have code after it. So whatever the action that you like to catch with the open file, you can write after and try. Okay. All right. So there is another clause which comes over here, which is finally. And if you write any code under finally, then that code will be executed whether the exception that you want to catch occurs or does not. Okay. All right. So Question number 2, a business is developing a program that stores each customer's username and password in a hash table. The hash table will be implemented using 1D array, customer login of the custom data type, customer record. The declaration of the customer record is like this: type customer record, declare username, declare password, both are strings. The hash table will store a maximum of 3000 records. The key field will be username. The program declares the hash table and initializes the username and password of all the records to an empty string. Write pseudocode to declare and initialize the hash table. So we have to first, since they have declared everything, the program declares the hash table and initializes username and password of all. So yeah. So declare customer login as an array from of 3000. So this is year 2. So we will be starting from 0. Okay, 2999. So these are of customer record. Okay, so we have declared the array. Now, for I is equal to 0 to 2999, customer login dot username is equal to null. Customer login I dot password is equal to null. Since these two are strings, so that is how it works. And then we have next. All right. Now, a function search hash table will search for a customer's record in the hash table. The function hash takes a username as a parameter, performs the hashing algorithm, returns the calculated index of the username with the hash table. The function search hash table takes the username to search for as a parameter, uses hash to calculate the first index of this username within the hash table, returns either the index of the username if found or -1 if not found. Complete pseudocode for the function search hash table. Okay, now we have to complete the pseudocode. All right. Function hash table by val search user returns integer because it says that it is returning -1 and all. Declare index as integer, declare count as integer. Index is basically hash of search user. Count is equal to 0, while in customer login index dot username is not equal to search user, and customer login index dot username is not equal to null, and count is less than 2999. So this loop will work, all right, until the username does not match. or username is not null and the count remains under 3000 since it is starting from 0 here. Index is equal to index plus 1, count is equal to count plus 1. If index is greater than 2999, then index is equal to 0. If you do remember, in hash table, what basically happens, this is bucketing that they are talking about. If you are looking for something and you have reached to the end, so you will restart from the top, okay, for as many as 3000 times, okay. Now, if customer login index.username is equal to search user, what is search user? The parameter that we have received. If it is search user, then return index, else return -1. How I know that if it is -1? Oh, it is written over here. It says that if found username returns either the index of the username if found or -1 if it is not found. Okay. So they are, which method of searching they are looking for? They are actually searching in series for the bucketing method. Explain the purpose of the variable count in the function search table. So it is basically counting that how many spaces that you have actually checked. So otherwise you will keep going on and on and on in circles, because once you reach to the end, it will send you back to the top. Okay. So we use count to check if all records or elements are checked for the value. Okay. It helps to avoid indefinite loop through the hash table. Okay. So it is there to avoid. Recursive algorithm can be used when creating program. Describe what is meant by a recursive algorithm. An algorithm subroutine that calls itself from within its body. It has base case, which is stopping condition. It has a general case, which let the loop run, which let the calling run. Okay. So this is basically the characteristics of recursive algorithm. B, a string that is a palindrome reads the same forward as it does the backward. So the word civic is palindrome, CIVIC and CIVIC. So these are palindromes. A string that is palindrome reads the same forward as it does backward. For example, the name Anna is a palindrome. Okay. So the function substring variable starting character number of characters returns one or more characters from a string. The first character is at position 0. For example, the string happy is stored in the variable word. Substring word 11 would return character A. Substring word 23 would return PPY. 0, 1, 2. So remember, the first character is having 0 as the index, not 1. The function length returns the length of the string as an integer. For example, length of the word is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So substring is starting counting using 0 as the first index, whereas length is telling in absolute terms. The function length returns, okay? The following is a recursive function to find out whether a string is a palindrome. The function returns true if the parameter is a palindrome and returns false if it is not a palindrome. Check word, okay? So if the length of check word is less than or equal to 1, it cannot be checked for being palindrome. For palindrome, you have to have at least 2 characters. Then return what it says about it, by the way. Okay. Is palindrome the function returns true if the parameter is palindrome and return false which is not. Complete the pseudocode. It does not say what will be returned if it is just 1 character. So let's say I've got no idea. We will have to check it. Let's say a single character will be, it is not a palindrome. A single character cannot be a palindrome. The first character is always at 0. Okay. If it is 1, then it is 2 characters at least. So it is starting with 0, right? So this is palindrome, true. This is starting with position 0. So less than or equal to 1 becomes 2. All right, good. Okay, and if substring 0, 1 is not equal to substring check word length of check word minus 1, 1. If it is taking from left and right the same character. If you count from left, then the count will be same as if you count from the right. Okay, if the two are basically not equal to, then it returns false. Else it starts calling itself. So this is palindrome. Okay, so this is how it works. All right. Now, C part. The function find power is a recursive function that calculates the result of a base number to the power of exponent. For example, the result of 2 to the power 4 is 16 by as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 is equal to 16. In this example, 2 is the base number and 4 is the exponent. The base number and the exponent are passed as parameter. Write pseudocode for the recursive function find power. Assume both of the base and the exponents are positive integers. So function find power base as integer, exponent as integer, and it returns an integer. All right. If it is base case, if exponent is equal to 0, then return 1, else we have to have a variable over here, declare result as integer, else return base multiply by or we first save it to a result, then we will result is equal to base into find power exponent base and exponent minus 1. Okay, and then we return result and if and function. Okay, so this is your recursive function for this this thing. Okay, now question number 4. A tennis club has a booking form to book lessons with an instructor. Club members can book up to 5 lessons using the booking form. The customer details section has the data, name, address, telephone number. The lesson details section has the data, lesson type, date and time, and lesson cost. The cost of each lesson is dependent on the customer's type of membership. The membership can be bronze, silver, or gold. The cost is also calculated. Complete the following Jackson structured programming data structure. So it is not part of the syllabus, so we just skip this question. This is not part. Jackson structured programming was the part. Now it is not, so we just leave it. Now question number 5. So this is declarative language. A declarative programming language is used to represent the following knowledge base. These all are facts that William is a person, Dheeraj is a person, England is a country, and then William visited Spain, Ingrid visited New Zealand and all. Okay. So Gina is a person who has visited Cyprus. Okay. So person is Gina. Remember, in declarative languages, we use all small, not capitals, okay? So the next one, first group that we have is person group, then we have country group. So she visited Cyprus. Visited Cyprus, sorry, country Cyprus. Country Cyprus, and Gina visited Cyprus. Gina visited Cyprus. Okay. Write the result returned by the goal. Visited X Spain. So who visited Spain? Dheeraj, Meghan. Dheeraj, Meghan. Okay. P might visit C. If P is a person, okay. If P might visit C, if P is a person, okay, remember P and C must be capital. If P is a person, C is a country, and country C. If you are writing this way in pseudocode form, then you have to put and over here, okay, and over here. If you are putting it in prologue form, then you would have to put comma in here. So since they have used if themselves, so we will be using and. Country, and P has not visited and or and not visited. P has not visited C. Full stop. Full stop is absolutely necessary. Never forget it. Okay. If person P and country is a C and not visited, PC. Object-oriented programming has several features. These include containment, classes, methods, and properties. Containment is when one class as object is being used in another class. So one class is the data of another class, that is containment or aggregation. Classes are the written code. Methods are the procedures and functions in that code, and properties are basically the data, the global variables in general cases. Describe what is meant by containment. A class includes an other class, that is containment, also called aggregation. So objects of an other class are declared within another class. Okay. This is what it means by containment. Identify two other features of the object-oriented languages. We have inheritance. We have polymorphism. We have encapsulation. We have private and public elements. Okay. Question number 7. A programmer is creating a program, computer game. The programmer has designed the class character for the character in the game. The following class diagram shows the design of the character class. So the name is a string, skill, health, shield. There is a constructor method used to create and initialize the object. Get name, get skill, these are all getters, and there is a single setter called shield. The program code, so we are going to write pseudocode. Sorry. So we are going to write the pseudocode, okay? So it says that write for the constructor. Okay, so we have got name, skill, health, shield. So public, as per the document that I shared, which was given by CIE for the pseudocode syntax, I'm using that particular syntax. Public procedure. If you are using VB, then it will be public sub new. Constructor name is always new. Okay, and then it receives name, character name as string. Okay, then it says it has to set all these 4 elements. So name is equal to character name that is received. Skill is equal to 0. Health is equal to 0. Shield is equal to 0. Okay, and then end procedure. So that's it. You don't have to write more than that. All right, so it says 0, 50. And shield must be between 1 and 25. Okay. So it is 0, that is 0, that is fine. And the second one is 50. And shield, what it says that shield initializes in constructor to a random value between. So we have to use the random function. Okay, random function. So let's just create a function. You would have this extra given insert that will be describing that function. So let's say that we are taking random as a function. Random between 1, 25. Any number will be assigned to shield. Okay. Now, write pseudocode for get skill method. So what is get skill method, by the way? Get skill method is a getter that returns the skill. Okay. So this is pseudocode. Public function get skill returns integer. In Visual Basic, this will be public function get skill as integer. Okay. It returns skill and function. The set skill method validates the parameter value and updates the value of skill. The method is passed to on an integer parameter that must be between 10 and 25 inclusive. A value outside of this is not valid. If the parameter value is valid, the method will increase skill by the parameter value. The maximum value that skills can be increased is to 200. For example, skill currently is 180. If it is passed a valid parameter value of 25, skill will now store 200. The method will return -1 if the parameter value is not valid. 1 if the value of the skill is updated and skill is less than 200. 0 if the value of the skill is 200. Okay. So pseudocode procedure public set skill. It receives any value as integer if value is less than 10 or value is greater than 25, then return, it says -1. Else, if is if skill plus value is greater than or equal to 200, then return. No, first we have to set the skill back at 200 if it is greater than. Then skill is equal to 200 and return, it says 0. Else skill is set to skill plus value. And if and procedure. Okay. So whatever this they have said for this setter, we have done it. So this is setter. Setter is a method that takes the value and updates its values. There are 5 characters in the game. All the character objects are stored in 1D array. Write pseudocode to declare the array character array to store the 5 character as object. Okay, declare character array as array zero to 4 of character. Okay, the game has the character with the name victory. Write program code to create character victory as an instance of the class character. The object need to be stored in the first element of the array. Okay, so character array 0 is equal to new character and the name of the character is victory. So that is how we actually create the object.